Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're at my place in the shed rather than being at the workshop shed. Same, different. But anyway, I'm just sort of organizing my space here. We moved here and sort of just chucked everything in the shed, and now I'm starting to get the workshop space back. So I've got a few cars. I don't know if you've sort of seen any of the content before, but I've got my Mark II Escort there, which is really at the point I need some work done at the auto electricians with the tail lights. They're sort of playing up. I've got to do a couple of door cards, and then we're ready for rego on that one. Behind that, you'll see that's a Mark II Toyota Corona. So both these cars have been much the same treatment as the MGB, stripped back to bare metal on the outside, or even inside the door jambs and doors and stuff like that. And then I just they're all painted. So Escort, then the Mark II, which really needs to go to a mechanic just to get a service. It's just sort of, it runs for a few minutes and then cuts out. And I don't know if the fuel pump's not feeding the right amount of fuel, or not too sure what's going on, but that's all that's needed before that one can be registered. And then right in the distance, you'll see the MGB that just came home. I'll be starting to put the rear leaf springs and the diff into that. So I'll start getting the doors on there, get the boot on. So I'll just start ticking away at that. But I've also got a few other projects, and I thought, throw some stuff in the comments. Which car do you want to see or bike you want to see? And I'm going to get to work on it. But I've got, don't mind all the junk. Like I said, I've moved in here and just sort of chucked it all in. But I've actually got a 1995 ZX6R there. And then I've actually got another 95 ZX6R there. So that was my first 600, not that actual one, but I've had a few of them actually. I just sort of loved them after I rode it. But they were just going to be like track day bikes. So I was sort of halfway through rebuilding, and then I get carried away, and then I get another project. But then I've also got a nice one here in a bazillion parts. It's a MC18 NSR 250 SP. So that one's kind of like the pride and joy, but I got to the point where I stripped the engine. I'm like, I can't get a crankshaft for it. I think the one in there is still fine, but I just want to know I can definitely get one for it. So what I might actually do is take the one there down to a machine shop and get one made, so that I've got a backup. So if you want to see a bit more of that, I've brought the frame home so I can start to do the build on that, because I'm super keen to get started. So that's the frame there. So sort of got junk everywhere. And then I even bought like RS250 fairings. I thought that might be cool if I do a track day with the RS250 fairings on there. And then there's also there's a TZ250 frame too, actually, sitting just in there. And then there's also a GSXR 600. Gosh, there's just so many things I've got. So that's what I thought. I need to finish and sell off a couple, keep a couple. So I'll make a workspace over here for bike assembly. So we'll get started on that. And then I've even got like the wheels. So they're the Magtech. They're like a magnesium alloy wheel. And then I've got over here, I've actually got, that's the engine for my Mustang, which needs to come home so I can start on that. And then I've also got in the box over there with the crappy little hat on, that's the NSR motor in there. So there's a bunch of projects. Throw it in the comments. Tell me which one you want to see. The NSR, I think, is going to be the pick for me out of all the bikes to do first. And then I've even got a couple where I bought the motorbike, it was a write-off, and I just thought, hey, it'd be cool to build like a Formula 1000 or something like that. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. We can do that. But otherwise, in terms of cars, I think that the Escort's going to be the first one to put on the road, just because my first car was an Escort, and so I love them, and it doesn't need much to go, and there's an all-4 day coming up. So it might be cool to get that one finished and actually get out there and, you know, connect with people, have a chat, have a bit of fun, go for some drives. So if you're if you're living in Australia, if you live in Wollongong area, hit me up, because that's where I am. You know, maybe we can go for a drive, or we can go for a ride if I pull my finger out and get these bikes together. So yeah, hit me up in the comments, like and subscribe, and then yeah, we'll start to roll out probably some more wild builds as we go. So I've just got a new tool, got a TIG welder, it's coming. So when it does, then we'll start getting into a bit more fancy sort of fab work. So I've been dying to get a TIG weld, and the MIG's just like, it's a machine, but it's I don't know, it just goes hardcore. It's not so delicate for the fine sheet metal stuff, so I'm pretty pumped to get a TIG welder and get started. I'll be practicing like crazy to get that one right, so then I can start to fabricate even like a motorcycle frame and stuff like that. So yeah, plenty that's going to be coming over the next few years. I'm just going to be building like crazy when that gets here. So stay tuned. Thanks for all the subscribes. Thanks for all the likes and the comments. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. So stay tuned. Look out for these wild builds that'll come in between the restoring of the other cars that are in the shop. So, all right, I'll see you later on. Bye.